Willie Mack, we are here. We are here. We're doing a top five list today. Top five. Before I get into the actual list, I want to give y'all the inspiration where this came from because I want to give credit where credit is due. First of all, I really don't know what came first. I think the podcast came first. Okay, so one of my favorite podcasts when it was out was the His and Hers podcast with Michael Smith and Jamel Hill. Shout out to Michael Smith. Congratulations, Jamel Hill. She found her a man. I loved this podcast. One of my one to me it was one of the greatest podcasts ever. It's not even close. If I had to do a top five podcast, it's number one. It's number one because it it provided so much inspiration from myself. It provided so much inspiration for the things that I want to do. It provided inspiration for the podcast that I eventually want to come out with. So, yeah, man. Love Michael Smith and Jamel Hill. I love them. I love them. I love them. Love Michael Smith and Jamel Hill. So, yeah, excuse me. Second thing okay, I can tell y'all why Michael's. So, what they would do on their podcast, they would have drafts. And I think the most memorable one, they did a Super Bowl draft. When like you come over like you had to draft what your Super Bowl menu would be. And Jamel Hill destroyed Michael Smith, but that was the catalyst for many other drafts that they ended up having on their show. And shout outs to Michael Smith and Jamel Hill. Like I said, it was to me one of the greatest podcasts ever. So, the next thing, one of my favorite movies to me is very underrated movie. Top 5 with Rosario Dawson and Chris Rock. Good. It was a very funny movie. Cedric the Entertainer in that movie. We all talk about when it comes to next Friday, we all talk about Pinky. He was an iconic character with his with his the way he played his Clifton Powell, the way Clifton Powell played that character. Pinky has become an iconic character in the next Friday, in the Friday franchise. You know what I mean? What I wish Cedric the Entertainer's character in this movie. I wish he had got the respect and the memes that Pinky had got when Pinky came out. Man, listen. I want everybody to watch this video, but let me tell you, if I was to repeat what Cedric the Entertainer did in that movie, this video would have to come with a parental advisory, age restriction, all nine. Oh my goodness, yo! If you haven't seen Top 5, at least see the hotel party orgy sex scene part with Cedric the Entertainer. Classic. The amount of dialogue that Cedric the Entertainer gives in that. Hey man, it's classic. It's classic. This movie, it's like, listen, if MTV Cribs was to come back and they was coming to do my crib, you know how back in the day when MTV Cribs you gotta have Scarface. You gotta have Scarface in the movie list. You gotta have Scarface in the movie list. You come to my house, it's gonna be, you gotta have the top 5. Top 5. Listen. Because to me, it has cult classic written all over it. There are so many quotable lines. There are so many great scenes. Listen, I've never been. I'm a down south dude all day long, but the scenes of him and Rosario walking through. I don't know if it was Brooklyn or Harlem, but the scenes of them walking through the city of New York. I mean, the cinematography, it's underrated. It's very underrated. So, shout outs to Chris Rock, Rosario Dawson, Cedric the Entertainer. There was a lot of other celebrities in this movie too. But great movie. I love that movie to death. And the name of the movie is called Top 5, and basically, I'm not gonna give it away. I want y'all to see the movie, but basically, it's based on who are your top 5 rappers. You know what I mean? That's how the movie is kind of based upon. That's why it's called Top 5. But anyway, you got to see the movie. Definitely, it has cult classic written all over it. It has cult classic written all over it. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But anyway, so now to the topic. This is my first top 5 video. And it's only right that I do a subject that's near and dear to my heart. Near and dear to my heart. As Amanda Seales would say. The heart. You know? My top 5 stand-up comedians. Round of applause. Okay. Number 5. And y'all have to forgive me, because this is straight off top of the dome. I should have wrote this down. Should have wrote these down. But these are off the top of the dome. These are off the top of the dome. Okay. And I'm going to go Watch Mojo. If for all of y'all that don't know Watch Mojo, I love Watch Mojo. They do top 10 lists. So what they do, they go 10 to 2, then they give honorable mentions, then they give number 1. That's kind of what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go 5 to 2. I'm going to give some honorable mentions, then I'm going to give you my number 1. Top 5. In fact, you know what? I'm going to pause the video right quick, and I'm going to just write them down real quick. Hold on. All right, y'all. I'm back. I'm happy with my list. Let me give a disclaimer. Kevin Hart is nowhere to be found on this list. Now, understand. If I was doing the best comedians in TV and movies, he's definitely in my top 5. Kevin Hart is funny in television and movies. I'm not going to go see him do stand-up. I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. I'm sorry. So if you hate, you don't have to hate. I'm sorry. But anyway, so we're going to start with number 5. All right. Number 5 on my list, D.L. Hughley. D.L. Hughley. And I want y'all to understand how I made this list, okay? This is not a list of the so-called funniest stand-up comedians. This is my list. If I had one ticket to go see these comedians for free, I'm taking that ticket, okay? I'm taking it. Like, but not only that, I would pay to see them if I had the money. If I had the money, like, if I knew, even though I got to work on Friday, if I knew they were doing a show at the Fox one time only, and I had the money to spend, I'm calling my coworker right now and being like, listen, I need you to work for me. It's not a game. That's who I'm doing. That's what this list is for. This is who I'm doing it for. So, like I said, first person is D.L. Hughley. Now, DL Hughley, I like DL Hughley because I basically, to me, he is, he's the Common, I mean the rapper Common, he's the Common of stand-up comedy to me. He brings a consciousness, to the game. I remember watching, my dad took me and my brother to go see the Kings of Comedy at the movie theater. That's another one you gotta have. You gotta have Kings of Comedy. And there's another one you gotta have too, but that's later on in the list. We'll get to that. I remember my dad took us to go see the Kings of Comedy. And DL said something that was so profound. It was so real. And, basically he was talking about being black in America. And he was like, basically, the cop pulled him over. And, the cop, I guess the cop was like, hey, you dropped your wallet or whatever. And DL was like, I am not making any sudden moves. If anything, I'm going to kick this mug back to my car. And get in the car and then pick it up when I get in the car. He was so, like, that's why, and I'm going to do a video on this. That's why some of these shootings, I'm not going to say some. The only killing of an unarmed black person that I feel, not that none of them were justified. Let me say that. None of them are justified. None of them are justified. None of them are justified. Cause some dude got mad at me on Facebook because he thought I was trying to justify what the cop did. I'm not trying to justify what the cop did. I'm trying to tell you why he did it in the first place. Philando Castile, okay? The cop says, let me see your wallet. Now, most guys, and you pull out the wallet. Back pocket, pull out the wallet. But you in the back seat doing this. Like you looking for something. You know what I mean? And you expect, and then the cop is yelling at you. Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. Bruh, I don't know who raised you. I don't know who raised you, but I know as a black man, if the police is yelling at you, you stop. Another video for another day. But that joke in itself is a testament to how thorough D.L. Hughley is in his comedy and in his writing. Love D.L. Hughley. Number 4, I'm checking my phone real quick. I think I know who it is. Eddie Murphy. Now, the reason Eddie Murphy is low is because his content is low. He literally, we have Raw and Delirious, and the nigga was like, I'm the best alive. and I'm just gonna do these movies from now on. Eddie Murphy. Listen. If you LGBTQ plus community, you might want to cover your ears. The best joke I have ever heard, when Eddie Murphy was talking about being in San Francisco, and he was like, there's so many gay people in San Francisco, the police don't even have sirens on them. It's just a dude on top of the car going, woo, 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 woo. Yo, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you do and say will be held against you in the court of law. I mean, yo, first time I saw Eddie Murphy Raw and he did that joke, I was done. I was done. I turned the movie off and was like, that is the greatest joke ever on planet Earth. I didn't watch it anymore. I mean, eventually I watched the rest of it. But he did that joke and I was done. I was done. I was done. I was done. I don't know who the hell wrote that for him. That was freaking. That was amazing. That was amazing. You like I said. I listen. If you LGBTQ plus community and you were offended by that, the movie was made I think in 88, 89 or something like that. So that was a different time. Obviously, Eddie Murphy wouldn't do that joke today because everybody's so daggum sensitive. But that was funny. That was funny back in the day. And like I said, the only reason Eddie Murphy is number 4 on the list is simply because he doesn't have the content. He literally only has 2 specials. And that's it. That's it. We ain't got nothing else from Eddie. We ain't got nothing else from Eddie. You know what I'm saying? We got a little stuff here and there, but that's it. That's it. You know, so that's why Eddie Murphy is number 4 on my list. Number 3, Chris motherfucking Rock. Okay? I remember the first time I saw Chris Rock Bigger and Blacker. I had never laughed so much in my life. It was hands down. I don't know when it came out. It came out in the 90s, I think it was mid 90s, maybe 95, 96 if I had to guess. From 95, 96 to 2002 or 3 when Eddie Griffin Dysfunctional Family came out. Actually, no, I take that back. Whenever Kings of Comedy came out, from the time Chris Rock Bigger and Blacker came out till the original Kings of Comedy came out, Chris Rock Bigger and Blacker was my favorite stand-up comedy special ever. Now, mind you, at that time, I hadn't seen Eddie Murphy Raw because I was a young kid. I couldn't see Eddie Murphy Raw at that time. I had to see Eddie Murphy Raw in my 20s, you know, because I saw it at Walmart for like $2. I was like, bought, you know. That's a classic. You gotta have that. You know, I ain't never seen it. Everybody says it was one of the best, and clearly it was. But Chris Rock Bigger and Blacker was one of the funniest specials I had ever seen in my entire life. And to be honest, I can't remember. I just remember the ending joke when we were talking about you better leave daddy that big piece of chicken because that's what we used to do in our family. We always leave my dad the biggest piece of meat. We always leave him the biggest piece of meat because that's his piece of meat. God dang. You know, yeah, man, that was his piece of meat. You didn't touch it. Leave your dad at least 3 pieces. You know, that's how we roll, man. But, so, Chris Rock, number 3. Did y'all see Tambourine? Tambourine was really good. Tambourine was really good. In fact, I don't think Chris Rock has ever had a bad special. Oh, another reason I like Chris Rock Bigger and Blacker was because he came out with the music video, No Sex in the Champagne Room. No sex in the champagne room, no. And when he did the Tiger Woods, y'all. I don't know if it was him or somebody else that was playing Tiger Woods, but that crap was funny. Don't go to clubs with metal detectors. Sure, you'll be safe inside, but all the niggas outside waiting with guns, no, you ain't got one. Hey, man, shout out to Chris Rock, man. Yo, I love Chris Rock. And that's number 3 on my list. Number two, this guy right here, to me, he is the greatest underrated stand-up comedian of all time, and it's not even close. He is the greatest stand-up comedian of all time. The greatest, underrated, underground, nobody knows about him, stand-up comedian of all time. Mr. Paul Mooney. Now, for all you young folks, for all the young people out here watching this video, y'all probably have no idea who Paul Mooney is. And spoiler alert, Paul Mooney is on this. This is why I didn't put Richard Pryor on this list, because Richard Pryor is funny. Richard Pryor is funny, but Richard Pryor was funny for his day and time. Y'all know me, I'm a realist. I like it raw and I like it real. Paul Mooney is raw. Paul Mooney is real. This dude right here, if you have not seen a stand-up comedy special with Paul Mooney, he got like 3 of them. You can go to YouTube right now and watch him. Well, there's one I know you can watch. It's clear. It ain't, it's not like super low quality or anything like that. It's good. But then you can, like, if you have Spotify or if you have Google Music or if you have iTunes, he has like, I know he has like 4 or 5 of them on there. Dude, Paul Mooney is one of the funniest motherfuckers on the planet. And it's not even close. It's not even close. For those that don't know who Paul Mooney really is, Paul Mooney wrote for Richard Pryor. Okay? That's how funny this dude is. Richard Pryor is considered the greatest stand-up comedian of all time. Like, he's on top of the world greatest stand-up comedian of all time. You wrote for that dude, which means your behind is funny too. Okay? I'll never forget. Very first time I started listening to Paul Mooney. It wasn't the first time I started listening. Dave Chappelle had. I know y'all are mad. Dave Chappelle didn't make. If I did a top 10, he would be on the top 10, but he didn't make the list this year. Well, this time I should say. I might do my next top 5 comedians. Dave Chappelle had Paul Mooney on his show, Chappelle's Show. And this is how funny this dude is. This is how funny this dude is. I bet Dave Chappelle, this is how the storyboard, this is how the table read went. And then we're going to cut to Paul Mooney, Ask a Black Guy. Then we're going to cut to the segment Ask a Black Guy with Paul Mooney. And Dave Chappelle was like, okay, so after that, what do we do? They didn't even have to go over it because he knew he was going to bring it. He knew whatever Paul Mooney was going to get, he was going to bring it. That's how funny that dude is, okay? My favorite Paul Mooney joke. He was talking about how CNN basically blamed him for the word nigga. He was like, I love the word nigga. I say it every morning when I wake up in the morning. It makes my teeth white in the morning. Nigga, 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 nigga. Yo, I love Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney. I'm so mad he don't say the word nigga no more. That's, like, he got, like, because they basically, it's like they blamed him. He said it in his show. He was like, they blamed me for the word nigga. Like, they acted like I created the word. Like, nigga, no. That's funny, man. Oh, man. That's funny, man. Paul Mooney is a fool. So, Paul Mooney is number 2 on my list. And I know what y'all saying. Who in the heck, if Paul Mooney is that funny, who in the world is number 1? But before we get to number 1, we're going to put out some honorable mentions as I go to my phone. Forgive me for being unprofessional. Arnaz J, boy, when he talks about his special needs brother, it is, why you laughing? Okay, and that's all I'm going to do. Bruce. As a big guy, I can relate. That's all I'm going to say. Russell Peters. Shout out to Russell Peters. He's probably going to go down as the most underrated stand-up comedian ever, other than Paul Mooney, because a lot of people don't realize Russell Peters is funny, okay? Now, the reason you probably ain't heard of Russell Peters, because he's selling out all over the world. He caters. He is a comedian's comedian. The true test of a comedian is a comedian who can make everybody laugh. This dude is in India making them laugh. He's in Dubai making them laugh. He's in Japan making them laugh. He's in Spain, Germany, making them Canada, making them laugh. He's in Africa making them laugh. This dude is all over the world making them laugh. So shout out to Russell Peters. Yeah, man, Russell Peters, man. Y'all shout out to Russell Peters. George Carlin. Where'd that come from? George Carlin is funny. First time I seen George Carlin was in Bill and Ted's. Didn't know who he was. I just thought he was just some regular white dude. Turns out this dude is funny. Not for everybody, and that's what I like about him. That's why I like a comedian that rubs other people the wrong way. I like that. Robin Harris. Robin Harris is he would probably make my next top 5. And he only has one HBO special. This one HBO special, because when I tell you he did everything, he did storytelling. He got at the crowd. He told jokes. He did everything a comedian is supposed to do in a special, and he did it to perfection. It's one of the best. To me, it's one of the most flawless specials I've ever seen. Like, he has you laughing through the whole thing. It's flawless. It's flawless. Of course, Dave Chappelle, just giving my boy some love. And Eddie Griffin, dysfunctional family. Dysfunctional family. That's all I got to say. So many quotable lines when he did Michael Jackson as a pimp, and when he did Bill Cosby as something. But boy, when he did Prince as a church musician, classic, man, classic. Shout out to Eddie Griffin, dysfunctional family. Also, when he acted like he was possessed when the Jehovah's Witnesses came to his door. That was funny. Yeah, man. So those are my honorable mentions. Of course, I could have added more. Off the top of my head, Neil Brennan. Neil Brennan is he's I'm starting to watch him a lot. He's really good. They're not stand-up comedians, so I can't put them on there. Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey. Shout out to Steve Harvey. Shout out to Cedric the Entertainer, Martin Lawrence, of course. There's a lot of good ones out there. But my number one, for if you know me personally, you know who my number one is. So some of y'all know who number one. Some of y'all is like, yeah, we know, because BJ loves this Negro to death. Listen, man, it was a joy to see. I got to see him live, and I had so much fun. I had so much fun seeing him live. Shout outs to my number one pick, Cat Williams. Listen, what can I say? What can I say? To me, he's the funniest dude on the planet right now. I don't care what anybody say. I don't care. He's the funniest guy on the planet. And it's not even close. He's the funniest guy on the planet. Funniest guy on the planet. Hands down. Not even close. Funniest guy on the planet. He, and remember earlier I said, top 5 would be in my movie case. Original Kings of Comedy would be in my movie case. And Pimp Chronicles Part 1 would be in my movie case. Pimp Chronicles Part 1 is my favorite stand-up comedy special of all time. If it comes on television, I'm watching it. And it's not even close. It's not even close. I can watch that special. If I need a pick-me-up, I literally turn on Cat Williams. I don't turn on anybody else. I don't turn on Steve Harvey. I don't turn on Dave Chappelle. I don't turn on Chris Rock. I don't turn on Eddie Murphy. I don't turn them on. When I need a pick-me-up, I don't turn them on. I don't turn them on. I turn Cat Williams on. Because one thing Cat Williams does, and I don't know if it's him that writes it or one of his other guys, but the one thing that Cat Williams does in his comedy, he makes it a human issue. He will take a big issue and bring it down to size for you. For example, he talked about evolution. He basically said in so many words, okay, you don't believe in God, you believe in evolution. Okay, evolution says we were all grown from monkeys. Well, I have one question for you. Why the hell are there still monkeys? Why are there still monkeys then? If we were grown from monkeys, shouldn't there not be any monkeys anymore? There shouldn't be any monkeys anymore. Because we've all evolved from monkeys. It's like, I never thought of it like that. I never thought of it like that. One of my other favorite jokes. The women having these babies, getting mad at the baby because their stomach is big. Getting mad at the baby because they don't look like they did 9 months ago, and this, that, and the other. You blaming the baby for your low self-esteem. You can't blame the baby for your low self-esteem because it's self-esteem. It is esteem of yourself. You can't get mad at the baby for something because you mad about you or whatever he said. Human, he brings it down, everybody buying a Chrysler 300 because it looked like a Phantom. Everybody buying a Chrysler 300 because it looked like a Phantom. Until a Phantom pull up beside you. It's like, let's have some common sense about the things around here. You know what I mean? That's why Cat Williams is my favorite comedian. He brings something to it that nobody else can bring, and I love him for it. I love me some Cat Williams. So I'm at 30-something minutes right now. I have talked about stand-up comedy. Please, y'all, comment below. Let me know who your top 5 comedians are. And let's have a conversation about it. Let's talk about it. But those are my top 5. Let's run through them one more time. Oh Lord, I deleted it. It's let me see. It was DL, Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy, Paul Mooney, Cat Williams. Holla at your boy. It's your boy Billy Mack. Thanks for support. Please like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you on the next video. Peace.